Craig Aggie Show, screaming into the void.
Hey film fans, you're watching Screaming into the Void. I'm Craig.
I'm Bruce.
And I'm Harry.
Yeah, cool. So today we're going to be talking about the biggie, The Last Jedi, Star Wars Episode 8. The Last Jedi.
Is it 8? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is,
well,
yeah.
they've kind of done away with it in the titles now, haven't they? They don't put like episode whatever.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
No, I'm sure the posters just say Last Jedi now.
Well, we're in the middle of the third trilogy, so it is 8.
Yeah, it's going to be. And it might get
But there is
confusing,
Rogue One as well.
because they don't want to isolate people, who haven't seen the first 7. They might get a bit confused. They might not want to go and see it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Big topic, so it's going to be a big bumper edition of Screaming into the Void.
Yeah, so it might be a 2-parter.
Maybe.
Depends
3.
how lucky you are.
Yeah, depends how long we ramble on for, doesn't it?
Make sure your bathtub
Yeah, run that bath.
is filled up full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because with it, well,
But you've got a big bottle of wine next year.
big bottle of wine.
You're going to need it by the time we're done.
Exactly. You might
Need it by the time we start.
yeah, so trigger warnings on this one because it could be upsetting some people. Obviously, spoiler alert as well. It's been out for a month, the film, so if you haven't seen it by now, you're probably not that
Tough
interested in seeing it in the film. So,
And if you haven't watched it in the first week, then no one really cares about you.
you don't have an opinion.
Get out your cave.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry if we've offended any of you.
Yeah, that's a nice one. That's a good way to start, though, Harry.
Yeah, it's good.
Just insult all the people who
So everyone that listens.
who might just
Us
click
three.
onto the next video now.
Just
So.
us re-listening to it. On the way to work.
Right, let's
And
start.
Bruce, Bruce, he was a bit ill today, but he's braved it in. He's managed to make it in, fighting off the germs.
Here I am, boys and girls.
He didn't
I've
want to
rocked
miss
up.
this.
And they needed a microphone.
Even put his coat on to go outside earlier, just in case he got worse.
That's true. And the scarf wrapped around your neck.
No, not a scarf.
Oh.
Soldering on. Here I am.
There we go.
He's got up.
Should we get to it
I
then?
look like a proper road man.
So what we're going to do first, we're going to go round to each of us and we're just going to talk about our initial thoughts and feelings about The Last Jedi. Dislikes, likes, favourite parts, things like that. So we'll start with Bruce.
Cool.
Yeah, you happy with that, Bruce?
Yeah,
So-
sure.
He was like, give it to Harry first.
So yeah, what do you think?
I mean, there's a lot of divided opinion on it.
Hmm.
But for me personally, I didn't like the story. No, wait, I didn't like the plot. I liked the story.
Interesting. Can you
So-
elaborate?
Explain.
So like all the bit with Finn was rubbish. There was a lot of bits that I just felt were like nothing to do with it. I didn't like the fact that Leia kind of blew up and then just flew herself back in. I just thought if there was a time for her to die, that was it. I just felt like a lot of it was going in. It was a really long film, but I feel like nothing happened in it for ages. But in terms of plot, I was a bit confused. But the story of it, Luke's bit with Rey, I thought was brilliant all the time. I thought if that was the movie in itself, I'd have been well happy with that.
What did you like about that plot line the most?
I just feel like it actually had some essence of character and story to it. I feel like it was just pushing the universe forward. It was pushing the story forward, and it was telling the story of the main Luke Skywalker, the main character of Star Wars, I suppose, one of the biggest characters, and then Rey, who is now our upcoming protagonist, our main character, and the relationship between them and the way they see the world. And yeah, I just thought it was good, like them personally, but the rest of it I wasn't overly fussed about.
Interesting. So that was your favourite part. Nothing else that you liked in it? Didn't really like any other
Oh no,
parts of
those
it?
crazy little bird creatures on the island.
Porks.
Porks.
I love them.
Porks.
I
They're
want,
like,
I want them to die when the lightsaber when I was kicking it about. I want it to just
That's
straight through his head.
a bit horrific, isn't it, Harry? It's a kid's
Yeah,
film.
but then it'd be quite funny.
Although,
well, Chewie ate one, didn't
Everyone
he?
that watched it,
did Chewie eat it? We don't have to see him eat it.
No,
so
but I mean, he
maybe-
killed one.
he
though.
looks
Maybe
at
it died
it,
of natural causes.
he
and
looks
just
at it,
didn't want to
and
waste
he looks at them. They're all like,
Yeah,
and he sort of just throws it
He's
away.
he's friends with him at the end, isn't he?
But yeah, they're all in the Millennium Falcon cockpit, aren't
Do
they?
you know what the best bit was for me on the whole film? Was when he's like, "Can you feel the Force, Rey?" And she was like, "Oh, I can feel it." And he's got that little vine,
it. Yeah,
and he's like, "That's the Force. That's the
I
Force."
did find that scene really funny.
I
did like that bit.
I was dying.
I liked it, but did make it Disney-fied in a way, because like Star Wars is a little bit more serious. Like the prequels did make it a little bit more comedic in the sarcasm and things like that. That I was like, that's borderline. You can get away with that without making it too stupid.
In general, Harry, we'll move on to you then. What's your overall opinion? If you have to you got a couple of minutes to say what you liked about it. If you didn't like it,
Since
you did like it.
I only watched it once, but the longer it's gone on and I heard more views about it, the more I've understood the film and the plot, and the more I've liked it. At first, I thought it was too Disney-fied. I thought it's like the bit where Poe's mucking about with Hux at the start, just flipping him off and joking with him and making him sound like he can't hear him. I was like, okay, it's an odd start to a Star Wars film. But then I found the funny side of it, thought it was quite good. The bit I found the worst in the film was the whole point of when they went to that planet and
the casino planet. You mean?
The casino part. I mean, it was good in how. Is it Rose?
Yeah.
Rose told.
That's how memorable she is.
I was gonna.
Yeah. Everyone prefers her sister. But how Rose told Finn about this is the real struggles and cause of the rebellion and how people, because he's obviously come from being a stormtrooper where he's been on the side, the winning side for all of the war, and then he's come to this side, tried to run away 3 times I think now, and then he sort of realised this is the cause. He then goes to try and make up for all the bad he's done by taking out the weapon that's about to destroy the base, and then she takes him out and destroys the base and then nearly kills herself.
Do you think, right, 2 scenarios. One, he should have died then and did it and saved everyone, and then, tragic death and it completes his character.
I didn't want him to die, but the way it was done, I thought, yeah, fair enough if he dies, that's brilliant. But then that completely ruined it, I think.
Okay, and then second of all, she saves him. Do you then think she should then die?
She should have died.
Because then she survives. This is the problem I have, is why can't you just kill characters?
When she passed out, I thought, that's it, she's dead. And at the end, it's her, he's kissing her and, laying with her. I thought, just kill one of them.
What is... You're a bloodthirsty man, Harry. You want to kill the porgs,
just
kill Rose.
They should have killed everyone else.
Everyone else.
Other than Luke.
The one person who didn't want to die.
So the one who did die, died.
Yeah.
And what's he going to do? Anyway, so you said Disney-fied. Can you... Tell me what you mean, when you say Disney-fied. What about it?
It was very jokey, very kid-like in the film. It's like they was trying to appeal to more kids than the actual fans that have been watching it since the original trilogies. Mm. Obviously, the comics. I mean, the comics don't really matter in terms of films because they never really follow, and there's too much info in the comics to follow. So that's why they skip out most of it. I just thought they was trying to appeal to the new generation and forgot about everyone else. But you were saying that that's what they wanted to do, didn't they?
I think that's part of it.
I didn't care what everyone else thought. They just went with their plan. I thought, fair enough, it's pretty ballsy. And I think it actually worked out now. The longer I've sort of minced about it.
Did you guys like it?
How many, you can't keep catering to every type of target audience though. You'll never be able to keep pleasing the very first original generation, can you?
You can't please everyone.
Because that's what The Force Awakens was, and they all came out and they were like, best Star Wars film, exactly like the old ones, and now they've done something different and they're like, nope.
But the thing is though, the more I thought about and thought it's Disney-fied, the more I think it's actually really similar to the old films. In a way, a Jedi's fucked everything up. Sorry, language. Not allowed to swear.
We'll have to...
We're not allowed to...
Porg little... over the top of that in the edit.
Are we not allowed to swear?
Just that's okay. The pork sound we'll put over the top.
Yeah. So a Jedi's mucked up. Listen to the swear jar.
The Jedi's and then everyone will know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Is mucked up. Then they go into hiding.
Forced up. That would work, didn't it?
Forced up, topical.
Totally forced up.
Hey, just say whatever the fuck you
want. I'm trying to talking crap.
This is actually sponsored by Disney now. This is Disney's Screaming into the Void. So we're trying to. Yeah.
Do you reckon?
You'll be able to buy action figures of me having
Disney would rename it. I don't think that. Sorry, Eric.
You wouldn't get out what I'm saying. So a Jedi's mucked up. He's then put himself to go live with his shame on a lonely planet, live with it by himself with all the guilt and the shame that he's got because he went against what he's about.
And fish nuns.
And fish nuns, yep. They live on the planet and milking massive weird bears against a rock.
Yeah. Bears.
So it was like,
They look like
and
bears.
drinks the milk and then looks into Ray's eyes like really weirdly.
I don't think he looks into her eyes. I think he's just looking up in the distance, having a nice.
Oh no, that's it. The thing
milk.
looks at Ray as it's being milked,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it looks.
And I've completely forgot what I was saying now.
You're saying it's very similar to the original stories. It's not as different as people think. I think
That's
it's
it.
like
Yeah,
that, isn't
it's and then a Jedi comes to ask for the training, ask them to help them out. Then they do, and then they sort of look at the Padawan as they're about to die, and then they vanish. It's happened to Yoda. It happened to Obi-Wan first, then happened to Yoda.
Yep.
Now it's happened to Luke, which is fair enough. There's this thing where I think everyone thinks now Obi-Wan did what Luke has done, where he just vanished. And he's been on Tatooine the whole time. But I think this makes us a little bit hard to believe.
I think that's incredibly hard to believe. I think it's the stupidest theory I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Because why would we not have any inclination that may have happened in like 40 years since the film's come out?
And then all of a sudden, Ryan Johnson
What
does
would
it.
be the point of Obi-Wan doing that?
So he can have his own Star Wars story.
I don't know.
And
I don't know. But,
I know what you're saying.
But everyone now thinks that might have happened to what he did. And tricked Vader.
Because
one
films
last
can't be
time.
interesting
But he's
on their
dead
own
though,
films.
isn't he? He's a ghost Jedi at the end of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Obi-Wan.
So, but you know Luke then died. At the end of it, he disappeared, didn't
Oh,
he?
I see. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But he was
So because
across the universe.
good old
doing it.
Obi-Wan died freely.
Yeah.
I understand.
That's my theory. My
Died to
theory
his own
is
choice.
you can come back as a ghost if you willingly give up your life.
Yeah, for
Like
it.
Yoda, if you're at peace with the Force.
But then obviously Yoda was there. He didn't force himself into it, and then he disappeared after he died.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Because Yoda wasn't on a planet miles away for then Luke to then find him on a...
So we definitely want Rey to turn into a ghost so she lives on forever.
Well, maybe that'll happen in the next
No.
one. But
Go on,
yeah,
Craigie.
so my
Well,
version of it.
I just one more thing, sorry.
He's had way more minutes
He's got his
than me.
Columbo moment.
Sorry, no.
Just one more thing.
Going back to the casino bit, I thought that was a complete waste of time in the fact that they tried to find that guy. He then betrayed their trust for them to then get captured and have the most pointless fight with Phasma for no apparent reason, and they still escape easily without being scratched. I
Okay.
thought that was pointless.
That's what I mean. All these other bits just didn't feel like they were
And
necessary.
it could have been used on something else in the film, maybe a little bit more towards Snoke.
I agree with all of Poe's bits,
You like the story of what
but I
pirates
didn't
deal
think I wasn't impressed with Finn.
Mm.
So Rey was good, really good, and then Poe's was alright, but I didn't think Finn's
Do you-
actually added anything.
Do you mean the thing where Finn sort of learnt his lesson in the first one, and then the second one he tried to then go back against, as soon as he come back out of his sort of coma, he would try to run away again.
Yeah,
When
He's not-
he always
he's
tried
running
to
to
fight his
find Rey.
demons. Yeah,
He wants to find Ray. He wants to help his friend Ray, isn't it? I think that's the point.
to warn her,
Yeah, and trying to help her out.
but he's still trying to run away.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't want. He doesn't think they can win. So he's rather than
Yeah.
stay and fight, he's going to try and find Ray, which he thinks he can do.
Go on,
I think
Craigie.
you both hit on that idea, didn't you? About do you think that maybe Finn with this kind of with Last Jedi they found that they had a story for Poe, they had a story for Ray.
Mm.
Maybe they didn't have a story for Finn as much.
Well,
Couldn't
they just
quite
tried to
figure
give
him
him
out
one.
into the story. Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe, is that
that's
what you
why I
feel?
think he should have just.
Do you think he should have died then?
He should have died trying to save it. He would have saved.
But then would you have had any reason to have Luke in
I've
it?
I've got some. Yeah, you're right, Bruce, as well. But I've got some theories about why that subplot is in the film.
Okay, go for it.
I really love the film. I was hoping it was everything I hoped it was going to be. I was hoping they weren't just going to do a retread of Empire Strikes Back and make it very dark and just have it as the middle, just try and follow the beats of Empire Strikes Back. And I think what they tried to do this time, Ryan Johnson, the writer and director, he's quite a canny filmmaker, kind of canny storyteller, and I think he tried to do something quite different. And I think obviously that's quite a reaction that a lot of people have. They didn't like it. You said to me yourself, Harry, you felt it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie when you first saw
No,
it.
it didn't. It still doesn't, but it's a good film.
I think what because
a
I
good-
was.
yeah,
I love the way you say that. Say that again. Good film.
It's a good film, but it's
Sounds
not.
like
It's not a good Star Wars film.
Okay. No, I liked it. It's almost like it's a good film.
Because you
But,
did that
like when there's a
on
bug
the
coming.
first of like Jurassic World. You know, it's a good film.
Yeah.
But it's
Maybe
not.
we could do
But it's
that.
not a great film.
No.
It's good, but not great. Do you mean like it's not quite right? Good, but not quite right. But that's what it could be like. That could be your reviews in it. Does it
good.
work? Is it a good hell? It's good, but
Anyway, go on.
I really love the film. I've seen it, like I said, a couple of times now, and I think everything is in there for a reason, thematically. Maybe not, like you said, Bruce, not for maybe for the plot, but for the story. I think Finn's story does make sense thematically in what they're trying to, the point of the film is. And one of the reasons I like Last Jedi, when I said that, I felt Force Awakens was very entertaining, but I couldn't really tell you what the point of the story was. And some people say, well, it's just entertainment. You don't have to have a plot.
This
That's
film
why.
was much better than Force Awakens.
Yeah. And
100%.
yeah, you all agree on that, yeah. I think films should have a point and should have a meaning to them. There should be, otherwise, what's the point? It should have art should have some sort of message and meaning. And this one, I think, was failure and dealing with failure, and also what's the point of having a rebellion? And I think, like you said, Finn goes to that planet, that casino planet, to see the real reason why people fight.
Yeah.
And it's not just them. There's the whole the whole universe is being oppressed.
Yeah.
And also, they had to learn that every mission that they try in this movie fails.
Yeah, that's true.
Everything the heroes try and do,
I
even the
think,
villains, every plan that they have, all comes to naught.
I just remembered as well. They find out that the rebellion actually buys off some of the people that are on the bad planet, oppressing the people who want to fight against the thing.
Because that adds a bit of complexity to the whole
Yeah.
thing. And when you said about the bit at the end with Finn, like when he gets knocked off course when he's by Rose, she saves him because he wants to. And the whole message is, we won't win by killing what we hate, by saving what we love. And okay, some people have gone, that's a bit like sentimental, try it, but as you said, maybe Disneyland. But I think that's the theme of the film, is also is this cycle of violence. Like they keep saying all throughout the film, it's like it's the Jedi on top, then it's the Sith, and then we're fighting each other, then it's the First Order, and it's the rebellion. And I think they were trying to say with that one is, if Finn kills himself and kills a few people, where does that solve? It's the same lesson that Poe has to learn at the beginning. What does it solve? It doesn't save the rebellion.
Yeah, because he's super excited about destroying the ship, isn't he? And then Leia's like, how many people did we lose?
Yeah, and now we're even worse off than we were
Yeah.
before. And they're just going to come back stronger. And with Luke's storyline, we haven't really talked about that. We probably will go. I think we want to go a bit more into Luke and Rey's storyline. Is he's taken the path of non-violence, and that's how he wins at the end. By not, a lot of people have said to me, "I'm really disappointed. I wanted to see Luke Skywalker doing like prequel level, like flipping upside downs, fighting lightsabers and stuff." And I love that bit at the beginning when he says, "What do you expect? I'm just going to take down the First Order with a laser sword." And it's almost like that's almost like a bait to the fans, like Luke would call a lightsaber a laser sword, just almost like he's mocking the whole thing, isn't he? Like mocking the whole idea of being a Jedi or whatever.
I think Mark Hamill said though he didn't like what Ryan Reynolds did with it, but he's happy to play at his best of his ability.
Yeah, and and that's the thing. I think it's a challenging movie, which I liked about it. And maybe when you first see it, you'll be like, "Whoa, this wasn't what I was expecting."
Yeah.
And maybe that's the same with Mark Hamill. He thought the same thing. He read that script. He's like, "Whoa." Maybe he thought again. What would be more interesting? A very boring. Luke comes back. He just kicks everyone's butt, and he's like awesome. And do you know what I mean? And he does exactly what we think he's going to do. But that's the whole point of that opening scene when Rey hands over the lightsaber. The last scene of the last one, hands it over to him, and he just chucks it away. And it's a big shock moment, and it's a lot funny moment as well. But it's also like, and the rest of the film is just keeping you guessing all the way through. Getting rid of Snoke, the way it flip flops between Kylo Ren turning good and bad. It's just you can tell what's going to happen next.
I thought that was quite good as well, because it showed that not all bad people are necessarily bad in the way you think they are. Because she calls him a monster and things like this when they first start talking through the Force visions and stuff like that, where Snoke's bridged their minds together, and he's a
total beefcake.
Yeah, he's
that scene with his shirt off.
Do you have to take his shirt off? Yes.
Yes, he does.
Yes, I do.
I think it's very, it's
he's shan. He's got a bit of saying, can he?
Exactly.
It's like, don't stop looking at my ears.
He's like, I'm not. Is this a monster?
I've got other features.
She was like, I'm a beast. I'm not a monster.
I think there was that kind of thing. It has an extra interesting element to it because there's a kind of like almost like there. It is a bit maybe a sexual.
It's like a love story,
push on,
isn't it?
Almost like
That's
yeah,
what
between them.
he loves her. He wants someone to rule by his side as his female counterpart.
It's playing the idea of, isn't it? But she's just palmed him off.
Because he wants all the power in the universe.
They have
to
a little
be
fight
with him.
together, don't they?
Because we said
She thinks that he thinks that if him and Herb team up, they can kill Luke Skywalker. Because that's eventually what he wants to do, and become Darth Vader. His whole goal is to become the Dark Lord of the Sith, and now he's one step closer to that because he's now killed Snoke off, and now he's in charge of the whole. He's basically the Emperor.
Were you disappointed with how Snoke was handled?
I was, and I wasn't.
oh,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like it of how quick it was done, but I liked how it was done. Right. As he tricked him, and he was saying all the right things about how now he's going to strike down his true enemy. Yeah. And he was doing the same movements, and he just mind tricked him. Completely tricked him with his mind, because he did exactly what he was saying, but then turned the lights over and killed him. And
mad skills.
It's exactly what happened to Emperor Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine thought that his apprentice was all his.
Good.
Yeah. His apprentice then turned against him, and he killed his apprentice, saving that his son, and he saved it, thinking the one that's going to join him and then take over the Empire. So it's near enough the same as the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi. But it's in the middle, so now it's like, what the hell is going to happen in the third film? Because usually that takes the whole 3 films for all of this to happen.
I was going to say, it was like
the
2 films
two.
in one film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of like what happened to Snoke.
Because the bad guys still win, but then they just lost their leader, and we've now got New Hope into the third one. So everyone's like, what the hell was the third one going to be about?
Yeah. You're watching the Harry Bailey show?
Yeah.
Which is everyone else. So we're going to go up to Crew. I'm only kidding with you, Harry. We want to hear what you have to say.
I'm going on.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I'm done. It's Harry Bailey show.
No, it's all good.
Harry Bailey show.
It's all good. No, it was like
Harry Bailey show.
No, but like you're saying, it's all, you say everything you're saying is right. I think I didn't think of that before. It is kind of a nice replay of the Return of the Jedi that the Sith Lords, the Emperors, never quite get their apprentice. Do you know what I mean? They never quite pick the right apprentice today. Maybe that's the nature of being. If they're all evil, then surely they're just going to do each other over.
Or the whole
is just a circle.
The whole. I mean, because I'm
be more evil.
Because I'm a
you
nerd,
betrayed me.
and I absolutely love Star Wars expanding universe and all that. The Rule of Two was presented because there used to be like the Jedi Order. There was a Sith Order,
but they couldn't get on with each other.
And they used to war with each other, always trying to take over power. So Darth Bane then created the Rule of Two. So there was always 2 Sith. There was never more, never less. That's why Grievous was never a Sith. Dooku
because he was a robot as well.
Dooku turned after Qui-Jin died because he didn't believe
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Andrew's
friend is Qui-Jin.
Obi-Wan's master.
I know who Qui-Gon Jinn is.
Oh well then.
So you say Dooku became a Sith?
Dooku was a Jedi.
Yeah.
Dooku was a Jedi. He then turned into a Sith after Darth Maul died.
Oh, I thought you meant Qui-Gon Jinn was a Sith. I'm like, I've missed the whole plot of Star Wars then, if that's the point.
Qui-Gon Jinn died, then he didn't believe in the Order anymore because Count Dooku warned them that the Sith were coming, and then he turned to a Jedi, and then the apprentice is then supposed to kill the master and then take on his own apprentice once he becomes strong enough.
This is like why,
because that's what Palpatine,
a praying mantis.
That's what Palpatine did to Plagueis.
Yeah,
the
they're always doing each other over. So
the apprentice always then takes his own apprentice and kills the master, therefore keeping the rule of 2.
Sounds like a risky business, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's why the Sith are all evil.
Evil's a tough game.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is, because it is. That's why they never trust each other and always had their own little apprentices waiting
about. That's the problem of being evil, I suppose, isn't it?
And Darth Vader used to take apprentices on, but he got found out by Palpatine and they were killed, and he'd have to kill them himself.
That's sad, man.
Yeah, and that's why he tried to take on Luke Skywalker to then take on.
This is the problem with like the extended universe stuff, because everyone says, this all stuff happened.
Yeah.
Because if you made a film like that, it would be like the most mind-numbingly boring film ever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But
in
the way in the extended universe, that's what's happened. Kylo Ren's now killed his master, so now he's the master of the Dark Lord. He's the big dog now, and he's obviously got the Knights of Ren.
Hey Bruce, What do you reckon on Kylo Ren? Do you like him as a villain? Because we talked once about.
He's a moany teenager, isn't
I
he?
think that's what they're going for.
He's
isn't he?
almost like the fans.
The bad Star Wars fans. Isn't
He's
he?
a bad Star Wars fan as the antagonist.
He wants it to be like the old ones again. He just wants to be a badass like Darth Vader.
But
But
he's
he's
got
not.
it.
He wants
He's
the
a
girls to like
teenager.
him.
And
Is
they go,
he a teenager? He must be.
No,
No, he's
we're
older
just
than that.
saying.
He's a man, but he acts like that. He's a stroppy, whiny guy, and I like that. They've made him kind of
Lonely
human.
child syndrome.
Yeah, he just wants to
Exactly.
be loved.
He's just
He
not-
feels like mum and dad don't understand him. My uncle tried
It's
to.
not a phase,
But
mum.
he was betrayed
Oh, hang
by.
on.
He
Could
was
that be
betrayed by his uncle.
A dark theme. His uncle takes him out to a little cabin at night time. He
Tries
crawls
to
into his
kill him.
bedroom with his sword. Maybe that's going on there.
Shut up, Craig.
Yeah, maybe that's.
No, I don't
know.
think Disney are trying to
I feel a
incite
think
rape.
piece article coming on.
I don't think Disney would try and put rape in their films, to be honest
It's
with
all
you.
subtext. You can put whatever you like in as long as you hide it
It's like
in,
the real
in metaphor, isn't
someone
it?
when they're an author when they write a book and they're like,
Exactly.
well, I did not mean that. But sure.
Exactly. Fine. That's fine. If that's what I've interpreted it, that's what I'm gonna do. Well, it could be. I mean, you can read that into it, maybe.
Can we come off the subject? Rapist.
But
An old
so he's-
lonely rapist.
yeah, and now he's got to be a beefcake, so he proves how.
Manly
It's funny though
is-
that like say if you look at Marvel, all of them are like super dudes, aren't
Yeah.
they? And now you've suddenly, and even the villains are
Other
like
than Hawkeye.
you know, top hench or really
Yeah.
smart or whatever, and then you
Mm.
suddenly come to the new Star Wars,
Which
and
I
you've
love.
got
Yeah.
you know, like we say, we call him a beefcake,
Mm.
but he just has no idea, does he? He's a bit of a tool. It's like a plank of wood.
All too human, isn't he? I think that's what I love about his character.
He's not a villain, is he? Really?
Not really.
He doesn't want it. That's what they say. He's still got the light in him. That's what Snoke says throughout the whole film, the first film, the second film. He's still got the light on him. He still wants to be good, but he also wants to live up to the legacy
Feels
of
like
his...
he's got his mum's credit card,
Yeah.
and she
he's
suddenly
entitled.
told him she's
Yeah.
not.
Get what you
she's
want.
not-
That's what he's pretty much like that, though, isn't he? But I love the. I might be get back to that later about the performances and that, but also about Luke Skywalker. Like the idea that some people fans are unhappy because he's not the Skywalker they remember. But what I love about Luke is again he's a very human hero. He said
Yeah.
he's not a beefcake. He's not going to be flipping around like flying and that.
He's
not
old. He's an
He's
old
an
man.
old, short, funny-looking kind of guy, Mark Hamill, isn't it?
Did you
Even
see
he didn't admit that.
Yoda flipping around fighting people when he was teaching Luke?
And
No.
he's a hero, but he's not quite up. He doesn't know if he's quite up to the legend, and I find that very like a very human story. And then it gives him an understandable. Because some people say, "Oh, he acts differently than before." Well, it's been 40 years since the last
Character
time.
development does exist.
Exactly.
Would you be the same in 20 years' time?
Hopefully not. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully, he would have made. No, but you may have made mistakes and learned things, and that's the theme of the movie, isn't it? You have to learn
You're
from your
constantly trying
failures,
to improve, aren't you?
and you're never going to be.
I love the way he still doesn't read the books. Have you read them? Oh, I skimmed them.
Well, you said I text. Or whatever like that.
Oh dear.
And now that scene with him and Yoda really moved me. One, because it's a fan thing, like having Yoda back. And he's
That
like,
was really. I
"Missed you, young
think, I
Skywalker,"
think
that
everyone
thing,
loved that.
See, that's a good
But-
nod, I feel, to the older generation, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, they brought.
Do you not think?
Yeah.
I feel like
I
it was
think
nice because
everyone-
it's like we were saying earlier. You feel like whether they forgot them or who they're trying to cater to. It was whether the whole film was catering now to newer generation.
Hmm.
That's fine, but it was still a
I still
brilliant
think
touch
there was-
and a
yeah.
nod towards people who've been there since the
I
beginning.
think
Yeah.
everyone was expecting a Force scope. They wasn't expecting Yoda. I think they was probably expecting Vader or something like that to talk to
yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Kylo.
don't know. Hayden
But then
Christensen.
But then I thought no, it'll probably be Vader like in his suit.
Yeah,
But I'm
wooden
thinking
and that.
at the end of Return of the Jedi, Vader died and was good. So he's not going to then be a bad Force ghost.
No, that's why I don't quite understand the stuff about
So like why?
why
so,
does Kylo Ren idealise him when he went.
but he
good
doesn't
again?
know that, does he?
Does he
True.
know?
He might not have been told that,
True.
'cause
Oh, wait,
you're
it's
right.
only Luke who knows.
Luke was
I
the only
think
one
so.
that spoke to him. But remember, the Force ghost was there at the end because once they redubbed it, once it the
They put
prequels,
Hayden
didn't they?
Christensen.
Hayden Christensen's standing there with Obi-Wan.
acting badly as a Force. He can't even stand like and just smile properly.
He's like he looks down. He looks down at him's robes, doesn't he? But they're all miniature Force ghosts.
No, Yoda's small anyway.
No, but they're all literally miniature Force ghosts in this,
So
aren't
I don't remember what in this. What?
they?
Wait,
At the
when
end
you
of
become
Return-
Have we watched different films like these little Force Ghost bowlers?
No. At the end of Return of the Jedi, they're all not like their full person standing. Once he's being cremated, is he at the end?
I don't
Mate,
understand.
you become a little pygmy ghost. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
it was.
Maybe it's just a bad special effects. I haven't quite got the ratio. Like
I don't even know.
I'm sure.
I don't remember them
at
being
the
like
end of
little
Return
mini
of the Jedi,
ghosts.
there was Return of the Jedi. There's Force ghosts, isn't there?
I don't know which version I've seen.
Or either of them.
I know the version, but I mean, I can't remember.
We are
Force
small.
ghosts
We are small.
I feel like I've seen it once.
Tiny.
Put your phone away.
I'm gonna find
There's no pictures that are going to make him. Because there's that. Have you heard? Oh, we talked about this about the bigger Luke theory, haven't we? That fan theory about the bigger Luke. That there's two versions of Luke. There's regular Luke and then bigger Luke. And it's that whole mockery of the fan theory. I think he's trying to make a joke out of it. He can make a fan theory about anything. Because there's some shots in the original Star Wars film where Mark Hamill's quite a short guy, and they make jokes about it in the film. And then have you found one when they look like normal size? I think you just seen like a joke meme and just got that stuck in your head. And then in other shots, they tried to make him look the same height as Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And everyone now there's big fan theory that he actually increases in size throughout the movie, and that's why Obi-Wan says to him, "This is your first step into a larger world," because he's literally becoming larger as he goes. So yeah, maybe that's what that is. Maybe that's what it is. Now that's bigger Luke in that scene, and the Force Ghosts look smaller compared to bigger
the original
Luke.
is Sebastian Shaw as Anakin Skywalker, isn't it?
That's right. He was an old British actor who'd been in a lot of TV programs. and
Who
stuff.
was Darth Vader?
Yeah, when they take his head off,
Yeah,
take his helmet off, and he's like.
but then
Yeah,
look.
we're just pausing the podcast while we watch a few clips on YouTube. Wow, we're on YouTube watching YouTube.
Why would it still be a young Anakin? I don't get it.
They just look regular size to
because
me.
that was him before he turned
Sorry.
bad, wasn't it? That's what I think they was trying to get at.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that
They
was
just
him when
look
he was
regular
good.
size to me, Harry.
Yeah, no, they are. Now in my head, I just thought they were small.
Really
I don't know
small.
why. I just thought they was on like a little nest on the
Oh, little
tree,
birds.
and there was like an Ewok size.
That might have been better. Or it just looked really short.
And they fly away afterwards.
And maybe.
They get tired and sit down on the log again.
Well, we went off on a bit of a tangent there. But it was quite fun. The smaller Force Ghost fan theory.
Started here first.
Mandela effect, isn't it? That Mandela effect where people misremember things. When a few years ago everyone was certain that Nelson Mandela died in prison, even though he went on to be like president of Africa. And everyone remembers seeing it on the news, and it's like that effect where everyone remembers something that wasn't there. That's what you
But
saw.
he lived till he
You
was like
remember
90
mini Force Ghosts. Then when people come back as ghosts, they just come back extra small.
It'll be different to Nelson Mandela.
What were we talking about? What were we talking about? Luke Skywalker.
Luke.
And how I really love this storyline about learning to deal with failure, because that's the whole theme of the thing. Luke wants to destroy the past, like Ren. He wants to destroy the past, let it all go, destroy it all, forget all about it. But I think with Rey, she needs to learn that she has to make peace with the past, learn from it, and then move on.
Which has come from nothing.
And there's something I saw once when I said about the way you can tell the difference between your hero, what the message of your film is how the heroes and villains learn their lessons. Villains never learn, heroes will learn and change. That's what makes them heroes and villains. Ren doesn't. He doesn't learn his lesson. He still wants to destroy everything behind him, destroy Luke Skywalker, smash everything, kill his character. I mean, that's what he wants to do. Whereas Rey and Luke learn that you deal with the past and let it go and move on. Rey needs to let go of the idea about her parents. Again, which is something that upset a lot of fans, that they basically said that her parents were dead and were
that
nobodies.
was another jab at the
fan theorists.
theorists.
But isn't that not nice though? The idea that you can come from nothing.
Yes.
You don't need to be born as someone special.
It's a great idea to become someone special.
To become exactly, Harry. To become someone special, you don't need to be born from the right fame, the right family name, anything. And even with the little kid at the end, who like forces the broom to his hand.
Yeah.
Which I missed, and Craig pointed out to me after he saw it.
Did you not
I
realise?
didn't
I
notice
didn't
on the second
realise.
time.
Did you not ask the first time? Because he's sitting there and he goes, he's like, the Force goes, and then the guy tells him to start doing work, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah, so
he's got the little,
once
he's
again,
got the
you
Republic
don't,
ring.
and like Luke's saying that the Force is everywhere. It's not just.
And I love the film. It's The Last Jedi, but then obviously you still forget that there's a lot of people that are Force users out there that
You don't need
Don't
to be.
show
You don't
it.
need to be special to be the hero.
And
Yeah.
I think this is kind of the theme of the movie is, and Ryan Johnson, the director, has kind of talked about this in interviews. Though, like we said, like you said, Bruce, maybe there's a problem if the filmmaker's trying to explain it. It maybe doesn't come across as well in the actual film. But he was saying that's one of the things he definitely said he wanted to do. He wanted to take away this idea that you had to be a Skywalker or you had to be a dad of a son of a Jedi to have the power. And
Yeah.
also he said about this idea of maybe you can, like Luke says, the idea that the Force belongs to the Jedi is rubbish, and then that's I think he said the theme of the film was he wanted to do was that maybe they don't need the organised religion of Jedi, but you can still have the Force. A bit like you can still believe in spirituality without going to church.
If you've watched, which is now obviously canon, is the Rebels series, the Disney Rebels series.
Yeah, I've never
Star Wars
watched
Rebels.
Okay.
There's in the first or second season, there's this animal, and he's the Force. He's part of the Force. He's not dark. He's not light. He's just a creature with the Force.
Yeah.
He's a creature with the Force, so he's very powerful, and he can do lots of different stuff. But he doesn't use it for the good, and he doesn't use it for the light. He just passes through, and he teaches the Jedi that there's different things other than the Force. You don't have to use it to be good, to be bad, and it teaches them life lessons. And it just shows that there's more powerful creatures than the Jedi and the Sith combined. There's whole massive animals that just don't participate in anything of it. And it's a good lesson because you don't have to be a Jedi in order to be at one with the Force and peace with yourself.
Yeah, touches. Yeah, the Force belongs to everybody.
And
so even the animals in the world they inhabit.
And also, could that be a message about Star Wars? So Star Wars belongs to everyone. Doesn't just belong to the nerd fans who deified and romanticised
it. It flows through everyone. That's
maybe
how
this
they come
film,
at one with the Force.
Yeah.
Maybe that little boy at the end is the young audience.
Yeah.
Star Wars could be for them too.
The new generation.
The old ones, we've learned from the old ones, but there will be old ones now.
Or even
we need to move on.
Rogue One. The guy with the blind guy.
Yeah, and they messed that ended up well bad, didn't they?
He's like, I'm at one with the Force is at one with me. He's a believer of the Force. He doesn't have it.
Yeah, but surely the ending of that one should have been that he turns the knob with his Force. Surely that should have been the end of that.
Could have done it.
What do you mean?
He dies, doesn't he? He's like the Force.
As he's stopping, he's
and then he
turning
dies
the shield
before he
generator
gets to turn the shield generator off.
Oh yeah.
And I'm surely that it should have been set up that he was like
he
puts his hand up and he moves it.
That
surely that would have been.
But then
the whole film is setting it up.
Was that too dangerous?
But then that was
where Ryan Johnson's the person who decided
he wasn't in charge of.
No, he wasn't in charge.
No, it was in charge. But what I'm saying is, if that guy did that Force thing, then that suddenly breaks the idea away that anyone can just use the Force, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if he did it, was that too dangerous to then have been done in Rogue One?
It might have
where Ryan Johnson decided that the Force,
can be for anyone.
Can be for everyone. So maybe it was too dangerous of an idea.
It's a way of life. It's not the actual using of it.
Exactly, like any kind of faithful belief.
Yeah.
And it's like with Leia with the scene. I disagree with a lot of people's comments about the scene with Leia when she gets sucked into space and she forces her way back into the ship. I don't think that would have been a good way for her to die. I would have liked to see Leia just get shot and the ship gets shot and her gets sucked into space.
I thought that was really tragic.
No,
I thought it was too easy.
I think she needed a bit more.
It's too easy.
But
because she passed away, I think that would have been a bad way to end her character.
There. Yeah. I like how it's done now. She's still alive. We can have a funeral in the next scene, next film.
I say the beginning of it will be Ren holding her medallion or whatever.
Yeah, and some statue of her
or something like that.
Or something. Yeah, because you forget between all the... I mean, other than this film, which is straight after The Force Awakens, basically.
Yeah.
Most of the other films, there is a massive gap, like a year or two or something like that.
There's a lot of time. There is a lot of time.
Because remember, in the second one, they're halfway rebuilding... in the third one, sorry, they're halfway through rebuilding the Death Star. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't take 5 days to do. So there is a time. It doesn't show it as much in Star Wars as like what it does in Game of Thrones and things like that. But there is a massive time gap, and there needs to be.
Have you seen the film Clerks, where they discuss the end of Return of the Jedi? Well, they think that's actually a horrific ending in the Death Star. In the first one, it was a fully functional machine that was run only by the Empire, so killing them was acceptable. But they said in the third one, it's still under construction and there's no way that they'd have the manpower to do that, so they would have had to hire independent contractors.
They killed
and they killed all these honest, hard-working builders. And have a big discussion about whether they're evil because they did a deal with the Empire anyway that allowed themselves to be hired.
Or they were forced into it by slave labour.
Exactly. That film has a big scene where they're arguing over whether that's
it's a good point,
case.
No one thinks about them.
No one cares about it.
That's why I liked Rogue, because Rogue One was boots on the ground.
Yeah.
It told a different
But I think maybe that was the idea with Rose as well. I think that's possibly the idea of Rose as well. Maybe thinks about the little guys.
And the thing is, Rogue One...
Yeah, she should have died though.
But then again, as I say, they should... We say that someone should have just died. In Rogue One, they all die, and that was a Disney film.
Yeah, but I know, but it fitted because it meant that...
Every single one of them died.
Yeah, but
The good guys don't always.
I mean,
win.
none of them were heroes.
They were
like in
quite
terms of
boring.
like they didn't have the right name, did they? So they couldn't survive.
They weren't Skywalkers.
Yeah, so they couldn't survive. So they all had to die. But they were all heroes.
And I just loved Darth Vader fight scene at the end. That was amazing.
Yeah, it's alright.
It tied it together.
It's alright. It's a nice thing. I think again it was fan service. Like, I want to see Darth Vader kicking ass. I was thinking about there's not a lot of lightsaber, not a lot of traditional things in Star Wars. Like I said, it didn't feel like a Star Wars film because there's no like big bit at the end when they're all flying into some like Death Star, blowing it up.
Yeah.
There's no big lightsaber battles really.
But
Is there? There's
one
with
think
Emperor
just
Snoke and
the bad
after he
guys.
kills
The
him.
bad guys need to learn to stop putting so much focus into making one massive ship because it just gets destroyed. Every
You're
film,
right.
every
I think
single
you're right.
film.
That their ships are always smaller and faster than theirs, so maybe they should make them faster ones.
I love that.
Just make
Right?
them
Theirs
faster.
is so powerful and strong, all these ships, but then they can just troll along in front of it and they can't do anything.
Yeah, but it's David and Goliath. as
They're
well,
out of
isn't it?
firing range the whole time. You're like, oh.
I didn't even realise there was a firing range.
I didn't think
Do
that.
you know what I mean? Like, I
they're
didn't think-
lasers.
I didn't think there was. Yeah, do you know
I
what
know what you mean now. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you're right. Lasers, they're light, so they should be able to just go wherever.
Just keep
They
traveling.
keep going till they hit
And then
you.
they just drop off. Like,
Yeah, no, no, just
like the gravitation of the stars
You're
pulling
right,
the light.
yeah.
bending
It doesn't
the light
quite
away.
make sense, isn't it? And there's scenes in some of the other ones where they get shot and then the ship's like dipping down in space, aren't they?
Well,
Like going
obviously, explosion would then push it into a one direction, wouldn't
down.
it?
Maybe.
No, that would happen.
Okay then. Sorry, Professor Harry, astrophysicist.
It's like when they drop the bombs, isn't it? In
Well, it's
space,
like
when
it's-
they just kind of just like
It's like
You're right. Why does
just
the bomb
rise
drop?
up instead.
oh, what the fire?
Shit. No, imagine that.
No, like when they drop the bombs. Why would the bombs just?
Why has
fall
it got
down?
backdraft?
That's
Anyway.
true. Yeah. Why does the explosions in space in the first place?
Yeah.
And why is there sound in space?
Because it's fantasy, isn't it?
It's fantasy.
It's sci-fi.
That's Ridley Scott said when they did Alien, and there was a scene when the ship was landing and it goes, like makes this big noise, and someone said, "Yeah, well, it wouldn't make a noise. There's no atmosphere in space." He goes, "It bloody has now, mate." that's what he said. 'cause
It's a film.
It's a film, right? Because imagine
like
if you
me.
watch that thing without any sound. Have you ever? Because they do it in 2001 when there's no sound and it looks pretty stupid. I know it's one of the greatest movies ever made, but there's a bit where like the explosion goes off and then someone gets thrown into space. It's literally in silent. You just see the face. It's all silent, just spinning off in
I
silence.
think it depends how you
Like
handle
sound
it, doesn't
gone
it? Because I liked in Interstellar where suddenly it blew up and suddenly it was all tense music.
Yeah,
and then
no,
there's
you're
an
right,
explosion,
it does.
but there was nothing.
off. Mm.
That was handled well. But then, yeah, imagine if all of Star
Well, you
Wars
think
there was just no explosions or
Can you
sound.
imagine though? You've got to hear each other inside their ships though, haven't they?
Yeah, I know.
Or like when they come past, like.
Yeah.
Right, I think I'm just going to go through. There's been a lot of criticism of this film, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Fans don't like it. A lot of fans, they don't like it.
But fans are stupid, and it's
Whoa.
exactly like all the other films. If you
I
look at the
agree.
plot of all the other films, it's exactly the same.
I
Should
don't
you-
quite know what they want.
Should you accept that it's
Do
just
they
the
want
next,
something different?
is it the next step? Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
They want
yeah.
something
We want
the
something
same?
the same. No, can't do that. It's different. No, that's too different. That's too different.
Yeah.
What do you want? Tell me what you want.
That's what the struggle is, that you've got to just do what you want to do.
That's
now.
the thing. You can't, because you'll never satisfy everyone, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the artist. Films aren't. I've said this before. That films aren't like a product. There, where you research what people want and give them, and just try and match what other things that you think. You can't
In
do
a way-
customer surveys.
In a way,
of it.
fans have become the problem of Star
Yes.
Wars,
Maybe.
and that's why in this one there was sort of references to fans saying a big up yours,
Yeah, I think you're right. I think 100% right, Harry. That's what the thing was
and
about.
say we're not
And they
listening
don't
to
like
you
it.
now.
And it's also this idea that
They're not going to lose the Star Wars.
you're not
fans.
special. I mean, it's a bit like Blade Runner. That's the theme of that one. It's like
Yeah,
you can be special if you want to be, but you're not automatically God-given right
yeah.
to be magical. And you're going to make mistakes, and you're just a human being at the end of the day. Maybe I don't like that.
And maybe the way that Leia
So we,
actually chooses not to go down the route of a Jedi because
Yeah.
she better serves the Galactic Rebellion.
so we kind of hit on some of the other main criticism of this one. We got the depiction of Luke. So some people said that he was too weak
Yeah.
and whingy, but what do you think of that, Bruce?
I loved him.
He's
he
a
was
human-
exactly
he's
he
a-
was exactly how he should have been.
He's a human.
Yeah.
He's a human. He's genetic species.
If you want him
human.
to be the same, then it's bad writing.
And even though he's a Jedi, I'm only human, the phrase still comes into it.
Exactly.
Because he makes the mistake of thinking that his nephew's turned to the bad side, but he further pushed him away because he tried to kill him instead of
That's
talk
right.
to him. And
Yeah. Or maybe other things we were hinted at we talked about earlier
Yeah.
in that cabin at night time.
yeah,
Because he's asleep. Anyway, and
maybe that's why he really wants to kill him.
maybe.
boys.
Some other people don't like. This has kind of annoyed me, but there's the emasculation of the male characters. That this is just a feminazi propaganda. That all the women are awesome and all the men are losers.
Okay, first of all, Ray is a proper sick protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
I've got no problem. If you're watching it
Ray.
and you're like, well, where's the male lead? Just fuck off.
Are you kidding?
Do you know what I mean?
Because you're allowed to swear.
Because you're the one who talks to the kids on the channel.
Yeah.
All right.
You're the man. We said you're the man on the street.
I'm boots on the ground.
The
Yeah.
grown-ups are talking now.
Okay. Carry on.
I didn't mean it, Harry. I didn't mean it, Harry. I really didn't mean it.
We've got a lollipop for you. If you want it.
Just want to talk about all the battlers.
No, but it's good. Yeah, we haven't mentioned the battlers yet. The Star Wars battlers. Everyone knows that Luke's a good battler.
I think Kylo's a good battler.
He is.
He's better than Ray.
Yeah, and then, Poe learns, he starts being really he's like a boyo, isn't he, at the start? And then he just kind of
Being a
slowly goes
maverick
down.
hero.
But he learns his lessons, doesn't he? And then, if you want to look
But
at one
in a
way,
way-
becomes more of a man from it.
Yeah.
He's
Steps
still-
away from being a boy into a man.
Yeah.
A boy who wants to play at war to a man who wants to actually fight for freedom.
Exactly.
And
I think
then
that's
instead
nailed
of
on the
going heads first at the end, he then leads them a path
Yeah.
out.
head. Exactly. He learns his lesson.
And
So
he's learned.
he's still heroic. He still saves people.
Is
He's
that
not weak because he realises he's made a mistake.
so?
I
What
think
scene
it's
is
fun.
more masculine? The one at the beginning where he
I
goes and
think-
destroys with the ship, or the one at the end where he saves everyone's lives?
That's the thing. The thing is about being manly is being the brave one, the one going in, protecting everyone, being the one that's fighting everyone off and like dying for the cause. But it's not the smart thing to do.
Not the smart thing to do.
And would you rather be smart or dead?
And that's what Luke does at the end.
Yeah.
And that's what Luke does at the end, doesn't he?
What's
He's
he saying to him?
smart.
He's like, see you around, kid.
See you around, kid. Yeah, because he doesn't go there himself, and that's
No.
thematically right because he doesn't want that violence to continue,
He's not fighting him. He doesn't want to kill
and he's keeping.
Kylo.
He's just trying to delay them so the others can escape.
Because if he'd have fought him,
He'd
Kylo
have
would be dead.
Well, I
Kylo
don't know.
would be-
Luke might have got killed straight away.
Oh yeah, he would have been
For real.
blown up.
And
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
he would have been blown up by all the fire that went at him.
And it was Kylo's anger and his kind of point that he wanted to kill him that made them get away.
And there's all
He
this,
could have stopped
there's
them.
this stupid thing like, oh, you should have used the green lightsaber instead of the blue one. I was like,
I
you
really didn't notice.
stupid. I was like, no one cares. And firstly, he brought the blue one because he wants the blue one, so
Yeah.
it made him angrier.
Yeah.
And he didn't realise that it just broken in half on the ship.
Exactly.
I think we've also kind of talked about this as well. Too much slapstick. I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
The humour the tone was a bit.
It
Off,
took the tone
maybe?
off of Star Wars.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes you kind of felt like
You need
did,
it.
did you need that a little bit, kind of like a
I
joke
think-
or a comment? Sometimes it was just kind of thrown
I
in.
thought it was quite funny what they first did, but then they dragged it on a little bit too much between Poe and Hux on the
Yeah.
ship at the start. Like they did it, that's fair, and then he kept on doing it. I was just like, alright, it's over now. It's not funny now. Carry on.
It's not funny now, mate.
It's not funny now.
Crap comedian.
Because timing, comedy is all about timing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
Maybe we went too long. And the part thing we basically said about is ruined Snoke and Rey's backstory. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, Snoke's not Darth Plagueis, everyone.
And in the same interview, Ryan Johnson said, "I don't really care about Snoke. He's not a character I think he's particularly interested in. He's just a bad guy. I said I'm more interested in Kylo."
To be honest, they did a good job of trying to flush him out a little bit.
Well, they said that apparently now he's the most powerful Force user. The
Who's
Sith dark side Force user. He's more powerful than the Emperor and stuff like that, which is hard to believe because he's awesome. But then I like the way that he's all this most powerful person, but he get killed in the simplest way
Yeah.
because he's too big for his boots. Just like Emperor Palpatine was when he thought Darth Vader would. Then
I like the
kill
whole
his...
visuals of that scene. It was like some 80s like pop music video. I really like that stuff.
Yeah.
When all like in the reds and they're all dressed up.
Yeah, it was good.
The fight scene was
It's like
amazing.
that.
I thought it was good.
Absolutely amazing. They teamed up together and at the end they ended up fighting each other. Like to kill the lesser of two evils.
I think the film looks different than a lot of
The
other
enemy
Star
of my
Wars
enemy
movies
is
as well.
My friend,
Exactly. Yes, yeah. I do like the visuals and everything like that were spot on, weren't they? Music's great. I really think John Williams did some really good music in this one, especially the bit when Luke comes back
Yeah.
and he walks out and it's all very, like we said before, it's very like a western.
I was going to say, yeah, you very much touched on that, didn't you? The idea that the ending of Luke is a western.
It's like the old gunslinger coming back from one. He's put away the. He's put down his weapons and he wants to live a life of peace. Like it's like an old western. Like he's a farmer. Needs to come back for one last scum battle, and that's what it's like, isn't it? Like one.
And he absolutely schooled the enemy and made him look like a little boy again.
Didn't he?
So I know you enjoyed the sunset, Craig. That was very important.
Yeah, I found that again a very moving image. That whole thing with Luke is that he can sum up his arc in those images of him. The first film, him looking out on the sunset as it's going down, the last sunset of him as a boy before he makes his journey out into the real world. And then in Return of the Jedi, we watch him, he's burning Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And he looks out at the moon and it's like he's a man now. That's his arc's complete, and now he dies.
It looks
at
like
peace.
Tatooine.
Yeah, he dies at peace looking at the sunset.
They put a sunset
Same music.
in the
like a full circle.
In the first one, with the
it's like he's the apprentice has then become the master.
Yeah.
And it just died just exactly how his master did.
Yeah.
Both of his masters.
And it's visual, it's the storytelling
Full
goes
circle.
around. And it's visual storytelling as well.
Yeah.
You don't have anyone saying, oh, look, it's the same as... It just... We can tell by... That's what films should do. We should be able to tell from the pictures what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think we've rambled on kind of enough, haven't we? It's been a good one today, I think.
It has. I mean, did you want to touch on the other films or not? Or do that another time?
I think I don't know.
We all sort of have, haven't we?
I think, we have. I think it'll be too much for anyone to bear. I think they've probably
I've killed
dissolved
myself
in the
by
bath by now. They've all
I'd have killed myself.
Winkled in the bath.
What was cold?
What was cold?
Or they paused it,
wine's
dried
gone.
themselves and had a cup of tea and listened to the rest of it.
Maybe.
Sometimes you come up with dreamy ideas, Harry.
Yeah.
I do. It's a dream world that we all live in.
I think maybe. Who knows?
I'd like
Maybe
to anyway.
So I think that's it.
Sorry.
The clap
So
just
guys,
ended
that's it. Clap ended. Harry's done. End of the Harry Bailey
Bye
show.
guys. See you later. Bye.
See you later.
Our money to our viewers run out. You're off.
So that was our podcast on Last Jedi. Let us know in the comments what you thought. If you disagreed with us,
there's
hopefully,
going to be a lot of disagreement.
especially when you called all Star Wars fans like idiots or something, didn't you, Harry?
Considering you are a massive.
I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I'm one of the idiots that believes in the theories and stuff.
And
So
if you liked it, hit like. If you didn't like it, don't worry about pressing the down button.
The button don't exist. Don't worry about that.
Just forget about that. And
we're
then
going to take that away.
Yeah.
You can only like it. Only love in this place.
Yeah. So if you want to hear more, let us know.
Well, yeah,
We might do it in a
put different questions in the comments, arguments, statements. What you think? Where we went wrong.
different words,
Different
sentences.
ideas and stuff. Yeah.
And then
Alliteration.
we don't know what we're going to be doing next time. We'll have to have a think about it. We do these podcasts once.
I mean, probably the next film maybe
Equinox.
When's
I don't know, like
when's Infinity War?
summer solstice. Yeah.
Infinity War. We'll see you in 4 months.
See ya. We might do this semi.
We can go back like we did with Predator and do
an old film.
Do an
I'd
older
like to do
film.
that with you guys because you guys, there's a lot
maybe
of older
Lord of
films
the
you guys
Rings or
haven't
something
seen.
like that, and Hobbit.
Well, Hobbit's wank.
Oh, it's too long.
All right, let's not start an argument now. We'll decide, and we'll let you guys know on the channel.
Yeah.
No, we won't. There'll just be a random release.
There'll be
in
another
6 weeks'
video.
time.
Yeah, we'll
won't
just pop
tell
up
you
with
when.
some random film that right. I've been Craig.
I've been Bruce.
I've been Harry.
And that's been Screaming into the Void.
Boo-boo.